Good morning, my lovelies. Welcome to the Queen's Curry Kitchen. Did we not just meet last evening? Well, I'm in the kitchen, so I thought let me just bring you in and share with you what I am making this morning. And this morning on the menu is ta-da, onion bhajiyas, I think pakoras, whatever you want to call them, everybody's favorite. So I thought let me just share this recipe with you guys and you can just help me make it so I'm not alone and I'm not bored. Okay, so why don't I just stick you in this cup so that we can do this together. Hello Sushma ji and hello Deepa. Welcome to Queen's Curry Kitchen. Get in my kitchen, make some pakoras with me. Maybe if you can make the chai, I can bring the pakoras. Okay, so first things first. I started out with 2 white onions. You can do red or white. And I've added salt to them, okay? So you can see it's releasing a lot of moisture in here. I've also used 1 entire Idaho potato, which is cut into little matchsticks like this. So that's gonna go in. And you can see both the potatoes and the onions release a lot of moisture when you leave them with the salt on them, right? That's the only seasoning I've added so far. I use sea salt or Himalayan pink salt, but you can use any salt that you have. Okay, in goes a lot of cilantro. Some people like to add ginger and garlic to their pakoras. My mother didn't teach me like that, so I just don't do it. But if you like that extra layer of flavor, sure, you could do that. All right, let's see. We are going to say a quick hello to Melanie and Tim, of course. Hey, Tim, I hope you're enjoying the food that you picked up. And I hope it's bringing your taste buds back. If only this thing would be steady, that would really be nice. Okay, so in here we have everything that's salted. And I'm just going to give it a good whoosh together, right? I think it's too close. Can you see? Okay, now the next thing that I'm going to do is I will add chickpea flour. The brand that I use is this, but you can use any brand of chickpea flour, or it's called besan in Hindi, but you can get it very easily in any store that is in your neighborhood. You can get this, right? Okay, so I'm gonna go and add this chickpea only till the point that it soaks up the wetness of the moisture released from the onions. So don't put any seasoning yet, just stick to this for now. And then we'll see what else we can do. It's so hard to do this with one hand, bro. Okay, so I'm gonna take this and I will actually dredge the individual onions into this chickpea batter, this flour, so that I will only add enough water needed to make a batter, but I won't have a runny batter. So I'll first take the moisture that's already in this mixing bowl and then I will add the additional water. It will also help me to adjust the seasoning appropriately, right? So that's that. Now the other things that are going to go into this chickpea batter is dry fenugreek herbs. If you have ordered the spice box from Queen's Curry Kitchen, you already have this. I will also add some coriander seed powder. If you have whole coriander seeds, add that. It gives a really nice flavor. This is paprika. I'm not adding any heat. I'm going to add a little bit of turmeric so that it'll have a nice bright yellow color. I will add just a hint of curry powder, not a lot. And one thing that my mom always adds to her fritters is carom seeds. These are called ajwain seeds. This is probably the only thing that you didn't get in your spice box. So they're little tiny seeds that actually taste like oregano, believe it or not. And the reason why we put it in all of our chickpea dishes is that it prevents flatulence and it makes chickpea flour easy to digest. Okay, so I'm gonna put this away a little bit. Bring you in again. Hello, Yashoda. Hello, Bella. Hello, Lisa. Everybody that's tuning in, thank you for hanging out with me in my kitchen today. All right, so here we are with how the batter looks right now. It's not a batter yet, but it's actually soaking up all the seasoning, and the only moisture that is here we have used is come from the onions that we had hit with some salt. Okay, so now all the other seasonings are in. Now gradually we are going to start adding some water. If only this phone would sit still, that would be really nice. Okay, so just room temperature water, nothing fancy. Add it very slowly. I wish I could give you a measure for it, but it's such an eyeballing thing that it's very hard to. Okay, so you're gonna keep doing the same motion of crushing the onions between your hand and working. So it's almost gonna be like a dough, but it's not a dough, okay? For any other kind of pakora, you would first actually whip up the chickpea flour and water and make a batter that coats the back of a spoon, and then you would add the vegetables. For onions, you would do the salt into the onions first so that your batter does not become runny between frying two batches. Okay, now you can see this is a very tight, this is almost like a dough. It's not even a batter, right? So now when it gets to this stage, you know that all the seasoning is well incorporated and hopefully there are no lumps in here, right? So now you're gonna go ahead and add some more water, just a tad bit, and you're gonna give it a good whoosh. So push it back with your knuckles, right? So that any lumps that are there are gonna break down. The onions are gonna release their juices and they're gonna flavor your chickpea batter. And then this should actually start moving in your bowl. So right now this is kind of getting stuck a little bit. It's not moving as much. So I'm gonna have to add just a little bit more. That's it. Oops, a little too much. Okay, and then it should start moving in your bowl. So you really should be able to churn it with your hands. Make sure your hands are clean. Wash them 100 times before you touch any food. Make sure your nails are trimmed. Okay, so this is how the batter should move in your pan, right? Hey, Anju Talvar, Iris is watching us, Srishti is watching us, Nalini is watching us, Vivian, Viera. I can only imagine how many people on a Saturday morning would love to eat pakoras. Everybody is in my kitchen right now. Okay, so you can see this is actually moving. If you have gone to an Indian restaurant and had onion bhajiyas, or if you've lived in India and had onion pakoras on the side of the street, you know what an irresistible thing this is, right? Now, if you like them super crunchy, you can add some rice flour to this and it makes them super duper crunchy. The other thing that we do so that our pakoras don't absorb too much oil is that we have some oil heating in a pan. I'm going to do a quick wash of hands. Bring you over. Okay, so I have oil heating in a pan, which is right here. Okay, and it's super hot. It's just really, really hot oil. I'm using light olive oil, but you can use any oil of your choice. I use the light olive oil, which is for frying and sauteing. Whoops, water on the spoon is not a good thing. Okay, Roma Tuli is watching. Brian is watching. Good morning, good morning. Kim is watching from Canada in the house, bro. Okay, doke. So we're going to take 2 teaspoons of oil and add this to our chickpea batter. Just 2 teaspoons. So what that does is it basically creates pockets of steam when you actually fry your pakoras. And that's what keeps them fluffy. But it also gives a nice lubrication on the inside of the pakora, which means that when you fry it, it's not sitting in the oil and soaking it up. Okay, so we're gonna give it a good mix. I always like to drop them with my hands because I have better control of it, but you're welcome to use a spoon. That works well as well. Let me quickly bring you over to something else that I'm also making. So these are actually lentil pops that I'm making with a batter made from green mung beans that have been soaked and ground with ginger, with asafoetida, with cilantro. And I didn't fry this. This is a pan that's called an appe pan. So these are actually appes that are made. So all I did was I added some coconut oil to the little cavities and I dropped in some mustard seeds into the cavity and then I spooned in the batter. So this is really a quick like a nice appetizer, which is not heavy because it's not deep fried. And these are nice and puffy. I think they're done. They might need a couple of minutes more because they shouldn't be like my little stick should not come out dirty. It should come out clean. So I'm gonna go back in and turn this back down to low and put the cover on it. Here's the batter that this came from. So this is green mung. This is the one that I got, that I was talking to you about yesterday. I will use it for crepes as well sometime later. But right now I'm just making the appe from it. Yes, asafoetida. Well, any dish that involves onion and garlic, Kim, and you don't feel like you want to sit there and saute all the onions and the garlic, you can always use asafoetida as a substitute. It gives it that nice kick and it balances out any tomatoey or vegetable-ish flavor. So you don't actually have to saute any onions and garlic, okay? I'm gonna bring you right in here with my camera so that y'all can see what is going on. And then we will just fry these things together. How about that? Right? That sounds like a plan. So I'm going to turn you around. I may not be able to see all the comments for a while, but I'm here. So at this point, when you just let your batter rest for a couple of seconds after you've put the oil in it, give it a good stir, right? Now, there are two ways to make these pakoras. Some people who like them soft will make smaller pakoras and drop them in, and then they will only fry them once. It's like French fries, right? And then some other people who like them super crisp will make bigger pakoras, drop them in, take them out when they're halfway done, smash them down, break it into half, and then double fry them. So that makes it super crisp. So depending on wherever on earth you are and whatever your preference is, you can do that. Okay, this needs just a little bit of salt. And I'm going to put a little more Kashmiri chili powder because I just love it. And some coriander seed powder. Okay, so really when you bite into it, you get the creaminess of the potato. And this is a raw potato. It's not a boiled potato, right? You get the creaminess of the potato. You get the nice rings of the onions. Crispy, crunchy, soft, and then you get cilantro, of course. I kind of like them with ginger as well, but just because my mom doesn't put it, I also developed the habit of not putting it. Okay, so this is ready to go. I'm going to show you the technique of how do you scoop the batter and then get it into the pan. So you basically go in with 4 fingers like this. Take your hand against the wall of your mixing bowl and then just go back and forth a few times. And then bring in your thumb to hold it together, like so. And then you go in and drop it in. Go really close to the oil. Don't drop it from a distance. Same thing again. Take your 4 fingers. Go against the wall of your mixing bowl. Bring in your thumb. Catch it here. Plop it in there. I don't like to put them in a kadai or a wok because I feel like it takes too much oil. I always fry them in this frying pan, but if you like it in a wok, then go for it. Same thing again. And also when you're frying something, the way you position it, I'm going to turn down the heat because it's turning brown very quickly. The way you position it actually helps you to understand which one to flip when, because you know the doneness happens really quickly. So either place them clockwise or place them counterclockwise. That way you can keep track of the even doneness. Okay, so either go this way or go that way. So even when you're flipping, you're going in the same direction, right? I hope that makes sense. Because sometimes if you just drop them haywire, then you don't know which one got done, which one didn't get done. It's harder to keep track of it. So the flame is on medium. I'm again going to go back in and drop some more. So this is for a friend of mine and she likes to eat these on every weekend. So every weekend she asks me to make them for her, which I happily do. Sometimes she says to make them without potatoes, sometimes with potatoes, but she's flexible. So I fill in as many as I can, and then all of those actually fit beautifully into a black takeout container box, so it's perfect. All right, so this is completely packed. A quick wash of the hands. Okay, now I'm going to go in and flip the ones that have not been touched yet, okay? So Preeti Chaudhary is tuning in. Hello, Preeti. What part of the world are you tuning in from? And are you a pakora fan or not a pakora fan? I'm going to tell you a little story about pakoras and my family. So my dad likes anything, used to like anything made out of chickpea flour. He's just the biggest chickpea flour fan that I've ever met in my entire life, right? So he likes anything made with chickpea flour. So I used to always wonder that, I don't know, after I get married, whatever family I go to, are they also going to be pakora fanatics? So believe it or not, the part of the country that my husband's family is from, they like everything fried. So lo and behold, I come and meet my mother-in-law and I ask her, what's your favorite food? And she says, pakoras. And literally you can wake her up in the middle of the night and tell her, Mom, I made pakoras. She will come running. She will skip dinner that day. She will skip lunch that day. If you just give her a good pakora, you give her 2 slices of bread and you give her some ketchup. She is going to love you forever. So I quickly learned that anything fried, especially pakoras, were the way to my mother-in-law's heart. I'm thankful to her for a lot of the cooking skills that she taught me. But this was the way to win her over, for sure, right? I learned that very quickly. So anything that you can batter up in chickpea flour, just feed it to Mom. She's gonna love you forever. I don't think her love is conditional, but pakoras definitely helped. Alrighty, you're going to need a plate and get ready to take them out. I don't double fry them, so I turn the heat down a little bit. This is my big burner. I don't think I should be frying them in here because see how dark they got so quickly. So I'm going to take these out. I will put it on a tea towel because that's over there. So I have to cross the camera in order to get there. So that'll help to soak up the excess oil. And again, I'm only working in one direction. So when I'm flipping them in one direction. All of these are kind of done already. You see that? You want them to be golden. You don't want them to be black. You don't want them to be dark brown. It's just like a golden, almost caramel sort of a color. That's what we're going for. Okay? And you do need to remember, some people actually, as soon as the thing gets empty and as soon as there's space, they start dropping more batter into the thing to fry it. I usually take everything out and then I give it a couple of minutes for the oil to warm up, back up, so that they will all be at the same temperature. Okay? You just have to keep an eye on it. Don't flip them too quickly and don't flip them too late. Just be with them, right? So some people like to air fry their pakoras and I think that, hey, you know what? If that's what works for you, go for it. Some people also like to make pakoras in this pan that I'm making the lentil pops in. Different people do different things with their pakora batter, but it's a very versatile thing. And typically it's served with chai, it's served with green chutney, and it's served with tamarind chutney. If you ain't got none of those, you could just eat it with good old ketchup and it tastes pretty darn good. So on a rainy day or a cloudy day, pakoras and chai are considered a match made in heaven, right? So these are done. This is done. Now before serving, I would probably put some chaat masala on it, but I will allow it to cool first before I close the box so that they won't turn soggy. Right? So that's where we are. Pakoras can be made with just about anything. You can make them with eggplant, you can make them with spinach, you can make them with onions, I've even tried cabbage and it tastes really good. It's such a crunchy pakora if you make it with cabbage. But I put Chinese seasonings in that batter and it tastes really bomb. So maybe I'll do that in one of my specialty boxes in the coming week. But these kind of things you have to just eat when they're just right off the skillet. You can't eat it the next day or 2 hours later or whatever. Just gonna go ahead and increase the heat just a little bit to give it a little bit of color. And that's about it. And I'm gonna go in for my second batch. So I will continue frying these. I also have to put tempering on some khichdi that I made, so I have to jump into that. I have some yellow dal that I've made, so I have to do the tempering on that. Don't tell me you want to watch the video for that, because honey, I have done that video many times. So I don't know where you've been, but right now you are with me. I hope you will give this recipe a try and you will try to make the pakoras in your own home, right? If you don't feel like making dinner, this could be a very quick shortcut. Like fry the damn pakoras, make some chai, bring out the loaf of bread. Bam, you're in business. Who knows? You could be really popular with your family members, just like I became the love of my mother-in-law's life thanks to the pakoras, right? Yes, so you can also make pakoras with jalapenos. You can make pakoras with long hot peppers. There's so many things that you can actually just dip into the batter. Just remember, if it's anything other than onion pakoras, you don't need to salt them. Sometimes people like to salt the eggplant and then pat it dry. But I feel like if the batter is good and it can coat the back of the spoon, dip them, fry them, you're good. I don't add any baking soda to my pakora batter. Some people do that, but I just feel like it soaks up way too much oil and that is not a good look, honey. All right, let's see what Regina is saying. Regina said, so Preeti Chaudhary said, superb. So Preeti, if you want to come on and eat some pakoras with me, come on over. I don't know where you live though. Regina Judith is watching. So hello. Tim is loving the pakoras. So thank you so much for tuning in. Here is the khichdi that I've made and I have to do the tempering. So this is a pink lentil khichdi that I have made. It has pink lentils and rice in the same proportion. Sometimes people like to use 1 to 1.5, but I like to use the exact same proportion. I'm going to put a tempering of cumin seeds, asafoetida, lots of ginger. This is the lifesaver. Ginger, turmeric, all of that is going to go into this tempering, and then I have to make yellow dal. So that is my work cut out for me for the day. And then I'm going to a prayer service. Yes, to give thanks to God. Shobhaji is saying you are superb. It's mouth watering. I wish I could feed each and everybody that comments on my videos. I swear I get so much happiness from sharing the food. My only regret is that you're not here in person to taste it. But if you could, I would love to bring it to you. If you do live in New York, however, you can request a sample of anything that you see me making. We give out free samples on Tuesday and Wednesday. So reach out to me. Long Island deliveries are on for the fresh food on Tuesdays. So if you feel like you want to eat some homemade food, which is made with olive oil, which is made with sea salt, it's not heavy on the stomach and it's tasty and